Hello and welcome along to the second season from this second stint of our Rebuilding Scandinavia save from Viborg with me, Daniel. It's part 10 today and we are back for season 2 and I'll return to the top flight with pressure as we come up against Randers, who we had a close cup game against last year. But we've also got an awful lot of transfer work to get through. We've missed out on a number of targets. It sort of ended up split into two phases. So we'll talk about that in a minute and see the ones that have managed to come over the line. Still massive financial troubles, as you can see. I'm hoping that will resolve itself this year. But if you're looking forward to a big season in the top tier, some problems early on in the season, but a lot of good transfer work too, then please do put a thumbs up on it and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. There's daily videos from 2 long-term stories and you can see the other one from Hemel Town up in the eye above. There's also links there to our top 3 playlist and our experiments as well. And finally the football podcast, which is back for a brand new season. Any other links you can't find up there are down in the description below, and you can support the show as a channel member by clicking on the join button below this video. But thank you as always for your incredible support. We're loving life at Viborg and we are prepared for a new season, which I don't know if you've noticed something from the top right of the screen, but it starts a little bit peculiarly. And I've got to start on the schedule screen rather than the transfers, because if we go and have a look at this, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it at the start of a league season. You'll have to tell me if this is the norm in Denmark, but I'm pretty sure it's not meant to be. We're not in the Winter World Cup year, we've not got any peculiar schedules, it's a game a week and all of that. But 4 of our first 5 fixtures are at home, we've then got 3 of the next 4 away, and then a whole month in October where we only have away games. It seems a very weird split. As far as I know, we're not stadium sharing with anyone, and neither are most of these teams, so if there's a logical explanation, then do let me know in the comments, but I'm a little bit confused having seen that. As you can see, we've had a pretty good pre-season, apart from our old rivals Lyngby. But let's get to the transfer news, because there has been a frustrating half of the summer and then an okay half of the summer, but we've had to change strategy halfway through. So let's go and meet the players and talk about it. So first things first, on the transfers pending screen, we've got one player who's hopefully going out on loan to take a bit of money off the wage bill. You can see we're struggling with that. We're trying to sign one more centre midfielder from Lecce, who's a quality Icelandic player, but it doesn't look likely. We're miles apart. If we go to the transfer history though, there's been a lot. And I want to start, if I may, with some old transfer history. Before we get all to the headline news here, let's go back to last season, because there is something that's happened over the summer that has just summed up my feelings about the AI transfer negotiations and the AI manager's management of its squad. We've talked about it a lot in the comments. We've talked about particularly recruitment when it comes to our experiments, when it comes to long-term saves. Well, Justin Lundvik, the star loss from last season's team, is much the debate at the moment. Because he went to Strasbourg for 1.1 million, they agreed to loan him back for the year. He had a stunning season with us. He won Player of the Season in the Nordic Bet Liga, the second tier in Denmark. He scored 17 goals and got 11 assists, if I got the numbers right. Top assist player of the season as well. He goes to Strasbourg, and on day 1, he's transfer listed. Somebody, please tell me what on earth is going on. It's not that Strasbourg have been promoted or relegated as I'd initially expected. They've stayed where they are. They've brought in a player when their squad hasn't changed a great deal. And they've transfer listed him immediately at the start of pre-season. Like, seriously, what is going on there? And even if you didn't think he was good enough, surely after his previous season, where he's been that good, you would give him a chance to shine in pre-season, wouldn't you? Surely. I just don't understand it. Great profit for the club. Annoyingly, he's on too much money for us to get back. As a loan, he wants £8 a week. We can't afford that. I mean, our top player's on about 2.5 still. And looking at him, I mean, it's just not worth it, even though he's absolutely brilliant. So that's my big frustration of the window gone, because they could have just loaned him to us again for the same price, but now he's going to rot in someone's reserves and never really develop, which is going to lead very nicely to our top 3 episode tomorrow, so come back and check that one out. But let's get to this season. Look, for the first time we've invested a bit of money, particularly in one player, and we've managed to get everyone that we wanted permanently virtually, so not many loan additions to the squad, And we are stronger, even though we had to change our approach midway through pre-season. So the only player you can see we got in earlier in the window was one big money signing from Stabæk. We had the two that were pre-agreed already. And after that, it's all signings in the last couple of weeks for nominal fees and largely from domestic clubs. Now, the reason for that is we spent most of June and the first week of July trying to get in top class players that improved our first 11. Most of them getting released by their clubs or whatever. We just got dragged into contractual wars and we didn't have enough money to compete. So many players chose to go to other clubs over us. We had players on trial. We had some of them that we just made a blind bid for. No approach seemed to work. So by about the 6th of July, where I think we were coming up to our first friendly, we had to make a choice. We had to say, do we keep pursuing these players that will make our team better, offering top wages, getting 2 or 3 in and potentially missing out on loads? Or do we go and look at the players who are going to be out of contract at the end of December, try and steal a march on them, try and get them pre-agreed, and then if we can, buy them out early so we can get them 6 months earlier at the club? We went for the latter. It means our first 11 isn't that much stronger this year as it stands. In fact, there's barely any changes to it. But for the next few years, we're building a squad that can probably take over from the current experienced pros, or if the other side of it comes along and we don't resolve the financial issues, can be our next £1 million, £2 million players. And that's what we need. So the players that we have brought in, let's start with the first teamers, and I'll get the two out the way you were aware of. We got Morten Behrens, who was our keeper on loan last year. He joins for free from Darmstadt. We saved ourselves the 30 odd grand we were going to pay last summer. He's really improved. He's trained well whenever he's been here. And by the way, I've remembered to put the pinwheel up here as it's been asked a number of times in recent weeks. But he's just a really solid goalkeeper. There were a couple in pre-season that almost came in that would have overtaken him and made him number 2. But I've got no issue with him being my number 1 this year. I think he's a very solid keeper, letting less than 1 a game last year. And I've no doubt he's good enough to keep us up comfortably and probably get us into the top half. The other one was Hayden Carter, the first Englishman to join the club in a playing capacity. He comes from Blackburn for £2,500 a week. We're not going to throw him straight in because we've managed to get another centre-half as well. And they're all about the same level. So I want to let him learn a bit of Danish first, get him settled, and then we can move him into the first team. Because I want to make sure there is perfect harmony across the squad. We'll get him working personality-wise as well, but a big 6'2" centre-half, massive jump in reach and heading ability, and he's decent enough on the floor. He's exactly what we need, and he will get better very quickly. Also offers cover at right back, which is great, given the injuries we've had to Anyembi before, and to Dennis, who we did extend the loan off due to our earlier issues in the summer. So Hayden Carter, very useful squad player, and will be a first teamer eventually, but not straight away. That's because of the big money signing this summer. I think it's going to be worth it. Nicholas Jensen from Stabæk, £300,000, is a Norwegian 22-year-old centre-half. He's already improving his personality. He's a 6-footer. He can play left back and he's got an okay left foot as well as his right. He's good playing out from the back. He's very strong physically and mentally. He looks like a leader for the future. He is officially the best centre-half at the club ahead of Tobias Karlsson. And I see him as the long-term replacement for Karamoko, who we lost in January last year. So for me, he's going to be the starter, and then Karlsson and Carter basically battle it out to take the second spot as centre-half. What a player. £800 a week, 3-year deal. I'm going to predict it now. I think he'll be our record sale within the next 2 years. I think he'll go for 1.5, 2 million at the very least. So with those ones done, we move on to our second phase of the window. Mainly youngsters, where we were trying to plug gaps, but we'd failed with first team regulars. In one area though, we did get one of our trialists in, and that's because there were no youngsters about that were willing to join us. And that one is left back / fourth centre half. Kosta Manev comes in on a free transfer. He's a Macedonian international at 31 years of age. 3-star ability at left back and at centre half. Not the best on the ball though for centre half in terms of vision, in terms of composure, but he's solid, he'll do a job. First back up to Laridson, who's a little bit older now. He's got a decent enough cross going forward, so he should be able to do the job. That's my hope. Then 3 youngsters. 2 of them you can see we've nicked again from Lyngby, and 1 has just come in from Vejle, our fellow promoted side. Let's start with the 2 Lyngby lads. Rasmus Blahom is the first man to come in. A centre forward for £8,500 on a minor contract. He's a wonderful young player. Not got the bundles of ability that some of the loan players we tried to get from Copenhagen had, but he's natural at what he does. He's a left footer, can play off the wings if need be, but he's a proper advanced forward. He's got pace. Physically, he's very good, actually. He's composed in possession. He's all right off the ball. Loves a long shot. That's something that could be interesting. Just need to work on that finish and a touch. And if he gets that right, he'll be a very good striker. But another one should be worth a lot more in the future. And because of Lingby's plight last year, and partly because of us stealing Karstrup, he did actually get a number of games for them. So really pleased with that one. Maybe even more pleased with the second one. Alexander Lerche is a 43 grand goalkeeper, and at 18 years of age is almost as good as Behrens. Missing a little bit on composure, but aside from that, he's very, very solid. As a sweeper keeper, not the best first touch, but good playing out from the back, good rushing out. He's 6'5", he's professional personality. That boy is going to be a star with football, so he's an absolutely wonderful signing. And a final one, coming in with 2 days to spare for the season, and I thought the solution to our problem at the start of the season, but turns out not the case, we'll see why in a second, is Daniel Thorson from our fellow promoted side Visual for £3,600. All of them would have been out of contract in the winter, so we're just bringing them in slightly earlier. And Thorson is a right winger. Now, we were really frustrated in this position because it's the one area I wanted the first teamer, especially having lost Ibrahim Said. Let me show you the one we missed out on. This is the guy it should have been. Rejected us to sign a similar £2.5 grand a week contract to Esbjerg. I can understand it, but he would have been my solution. And again, at 23, probably would have been a big profit maker if we'd got him on a free. There's plenty of others we tried to get on trial as well. But in the end, we ended up, if we go back to the transfers, with Thorson. Now, at 18 years of age, he's a decent winger. He's got a long way to go technically, but physically he's very good. He's got bundles of pace off the bench, and he's also good off the ball and works hard. Scored loads of goals out on loan in the last couple of years. Never actually played for his parent club, but in the second tier, scored 16 in 27 last season. Also contributed assists. Must have played in a very advanced role. He's not the best finisher, but he's great in the air, and maybe that was something arriving at the back post. But a really good winger, a backup to Palmer on loan from Copenhagen. But as you can see, he's suspended for this first week of the season. The other issue, if we go back to the schedule and today's game, is that David Palmer is playing in the Olympics, as is Lars Blom for our visitors. But without Palmer, and without a replacement, we're now 2 right wingers down. Ibrahim Said's gone back to his parent club, so we're a little short in that position. But overall, given what could have happened and where we were 2 weeks ago, I'm really happy with the summer transfer window. Given the shortened pre-season and looking ahead to the winter break, I think there will be a little settling in period. But overall, I don't think we can be too unhappy. I am a little worried about the debt. I am hopeful that we're going to have a bigger stream of income this year. We haven't really upped the wage bill much. I think it went up 5 or 6 grand a week. I'm hoping we'll be making back at least that 30 grand a month when it comes to merchandise, ticket revenue and stuff bought on match days. Got to go up by that much at least. And then we've got to think about other positions. Do we have to sell? Do we have to get into Europe to survive? At what point do we end up selling again? Because this summer, bar maybe Anyembi, there's not that many that are wanted, and no offers have yet come in for any of our big players. There is one little bonus though, and it's only going to last for 2 games this season, but what I didn't realise when we sold a player in January, you'll know who I mean, Waliti Yanusa, he signed a 6-month loan extension with us, which takes him from the 1st of February to the 1st of August. So for this Randers game, and for the Bromby game next week, we've actually got Waliti Yanusa available. We can't afford to keep him after that, and we will need a replacement. But with that being the one position we haven't yet fulfilled, I'm not as worried about it. And you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to make the most of him and start him in these 2 games. So a decent squad. Again, we're working with quite a small one. That is largely for financial reasons. We did manage to keep a few of the experienced pros on new deals. Grunin and Laridson among many to sign them. Felix Mikel, another one who added a couple of years. And is there anyone else? I'm not so sure. So that's my transfer work. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that done, we're going to head into our first game of the season via the season preview. Where do you think we're expected to finish? I'm going to say the media have us between 7th and 9th. I genuinely haven't looked at this. Let's see. Oh, 11th. So obviously ahead of Vejle, who were our runners-up by a long way last year. Then there's another team just above us. But they're suggesting this bottom three is going to get cut adrift. I disagree. I think the 50-1 shots we can compete with. It's whether we can catch Randers, today's opponents, and Nordsjælland. That's the big thing for our season. So into the first game, where I would assume we're now going to be underdogs, but I still think we're going to fight above that. Let's have a look at the team we've picked for today. 6,500 fans in. Now, if we can keep that up all season, we should be able to improve our finances, because last year it was between 4 and 5, depending on how we were doing. Average ticket price £10. So £10, 1,500 fans. We're talking 15 grand extra each match day. 2 home games a month, 30 grand. We should make the money back. So let's have a look at the team and see what we've put out today. It is threadbare. There's not much available, but it's strong enough. And the first 11 got a lot of familiar names. So I think the only debutant is Jensen, the centre-half. It would have been him or Carter anyway, so one of them had to. We've got a couple of youngsters on the bench. I've gone for Beck and Karstrup on the 2 wings, mainly because the only other option was a left-footed striker and someone who hadn't played for us before. And in Harbo, of course, the biggest shoes to fill this season. Steps in for Lundvik. And I don't really know which midfield role he's going to play yet, because obviously we're losing Yunusa in 2 weeks. I know Bonda can be a midfielder again this year, but it's not quite the same, is it? So I think we still get 5 subs in the top tier. That should make things a little easier in terms of game management. But our lineup for today is Behrens in goal, his first game as a permanent addition. And Yembi and Lauritzen the fullbacks, with Carlson joined by Jensen, the new centre-half. Witt, Harbo and Yunusa in centre midfield. You've got 2 games to make an impact, Willity. Make sure you do it today. And then Karstrup, Beck and Rothman the front 3. Not many options to rotate this game. So they need to get through the 90 minutes before Palmer returns, hopefully, in the next week or 2. So first game v Randers. Let me know what you think happens below. Fingers crossed we can get a positive result, or at least a positive performance to keep the fans on board. First game of the season is against John Arnarisa's boys. Wasn't he managing a second tier side last year, or is it just the cup game I'm remembering him from? But loads of changes, we can't worry about that. It's been pre-season prior. First game of the season, a few of the boys joined late in the window, but generally this squad has been together for a while now, so I'm hopeful we're going to have a positive performance. And we're back very quickly, just 2 minutes into the game, with a free kick on the right hand side, very dangerous position, and a wonderful moment to score. VAR will check. I'm pretty sure that was onside. Lauritzen, it's why we kept him, puts in a wicked delivery for Carlson, and he stayed in the team. Familiarity at the back, and also for the set-piece routines. 5 gone, 1 up with the only shot of the game. About 50 more fans than expected as well, so an extra 1,600 through the gate. As Carlson's in again, and he scored again. Oh my word, it's a dream start. Carlson getting on the end of Larison crosses. You might as well just take the rest of the team out. And Yembi's won the free kicks on the right. The right backs won the free kicks. The left backs put them in, and the centre half scored them. I mean, what more could you ask for? The rest of the team haven't had to do anything. As here come Randers for the first time in the game. They will be absolutely mortified to give us a 2-goal head start in a nothing match from set pieces. But they're in at the other end here. What a challenge from Johansson. Oh, it's Jensen as well. I got his name wrong. We'll get there eventually. The only new man makes a crucial intervention, and the rebound somehow is put wide of the empty net. A quarter of the game gone. It's not been a great performance, but 2 shots on target, 2 headers from Carlson. 2 goals. I can't ask for more than that. As we're back with the last 10 minutes in motion for the first half. It's thrown in from Lauritzen to Beck. Looking for a hat-trick of assists is the left back. Here's Willity Yunusa. Oh, nearly went out in style. 2 more games and he's going for the crackers now. That thunderbolt just wide as Lauritsen's got a throw in again to Beck. And this is what I meant. Bar the top 3 or 4 in the league, we can compete with anyone. I know Copenhagen will probably be too good. Brøndby with their first 11 the same, but again, if we manage to get a lucky fixture against them, a lucky break where we're playing them just after one of their European matches, there's every chance we can shock them too. But I'm aiming high this year. I want to make the top half split. And I feel strongly that we can do that. As Rothman comes forward. First mazy run. We've seen nothing from him yet. Gets to the left-hand side. It's back to Tobias Beck. Finds Yunusa and Harbo. He shoots just over. Trying to be the Justin Lundvik. He almost pops up with a first half goal. Still only 2 on target. They're the only 2 we've needed. As Nybo takes the goal kick for Randers. Long towards Harbo and Anyembi. Anovo gets it forward. O'Day's in. He's missed one already this game. Forced a little wide there. Good defending from Jensen. It's back to the edge of the box. Oh, I thought that was a penalty. But Janusa's on the breakaway now. Through to Joachim Rothman. He's taken it well. Goes for the shot that hits the woodwork. And Okoroji at left back. The man that I can't remember where I've managed him in this year's FM. Manages to get it away. Bungard brings it down the left. It's turning into a fabulous end-to-end game this. But thankfully we've got the advantage as Okoroji over to Ahaji on the left byline. Back to Bungard. He delivers the cross. A day's up. It's just over. Behrens had it covered. It should be half-time now. 2-0, but it's not been convincing. They have been the only shots on target, and let's be honest, it was poor set-piece marking at the start of the game. In open play, there's been nothing between us, but we are going to be strong from set pieces. We've deliberately got a big, strong, powerful side and kept a set piece specialist. So it is part of a deliberate plan to be strong in that area. The first 20 minutes of the second half have been very quiet. So we'll make some subs in a moment. After this Randers corner, flicked on at the front post. Beck hacks it away. Okoroji gets there first. They've still got a threat. And if they get one back, I can see the panic stations coming alive. Anderson goes left to Okoroji and Bungard delivers a cross. It's a whip delivery. Jensen heads away. Only as far as the right back, who gets towards the byline. 4 in the middle here for Randers. 1 at the back post, it's just beyond him. Karstrup brings it away this time. Can we counter and put this game to bed? He finds Rothman, who's got support from midfield, but goes alone. Shoots from distance. Into the side netting. It was a wonderful effort. But it never really looked like going in. And we're straight back from the goal kick again. It's a mad game now. Nybo goes long. Berg Johnson loses out to Witt. Janusa away to Rothman. He's got himself in. It's a great save by the keeper. We still look a threat on the counter-attack. We're going to miss Janusa badly. But what subs do we make here? Because going forward, where the players are tired, we've not really got many options. Jensen's up. Anderson hacks away. Larriton keeps it on the left-hand side. It peters out. Let's think about subs before there's another attack. Right then, Tobias Beck is struggling. I'm going to take him off for Blaham, which I think is the only option. I'm going to switch sides with Karstrup. They'll both have to be inverted because it's the only way it really works. We're also going to make changes in midfield. Daniel Harbo will come off for... Do I want to go for experience here? I think I do. But then we're 2 up, so what's the harm? I think we go for Bernston. Let's get the youth players on. Witt will be replaced by Grunin. That's the experience we've longed for. Let's leave it at 3 for now. We'll make the other 2 in a minute. As we're back in the final 15 minutes. Both centre-halves now really struggling for fitness. But Bernston's nicked the ball high up. We've got a 4-on-2. They're throwing everyone forward to get back into this. And we're able to counter them at speed. As Karstrup finds Rothman. Thinks the keeper it was the wrong option. Had to just slide it to the side of him there. Instead tried to be a little too cute. Probably got found out. So in the final 10, we're going to take off Jensen for Hayden Carter. He will go on at left centre-half. And then at right back... In fact, Carter will come on at right back because we don't have another option. Bonda will go back at centre-half. He's got a good relationship with Carlson anyway. For 10 minutes, it should be fine. It's been an even game, this. We can't deny it. But if we get the win, it's the perfect start. Against the side expected to be in the top half. Albeit they've wasted chances. It would be a really good one, but there's still 7 minutes plus stoppage time, and they're flying down the left now with loads of bodies committed forward. Bungard into Ode. Good goalkeeping, Behrens. Stayed alive to it, concentrated, hasn't fallen asleep from the quiet half, and he clears it well as well. Blaham keeps it down for Bernston. The 2 youngsters making a real impact there. Switch to Karstrup, who's now on the left. Lovely delivery to Blaham, and almost gets the debut goal himself. Just wide of the post. Good signs he headed it back where it came from, but not got enough whip on it. As Carter with a throw on the right to Blaham. Onto his left foot. Chance to shoot. We know he was good from range. Not that time. Went a long way over. 1 minute plus stoppages. We're going to win. We're going to start our top tier campaign with 3 points. And here we are trying to put more gloss on it as Blaham cuts it back to Bernston. On the edge of the box is Carter. Goes for the shot himself. Hayden Carter. I'm not quite sure how it's gone through the keeper. 25 yards out, just hits it towards goal. It wasn't a great effort. It was fairly central, and it wasn't the most powerful in the world. But the keeper flapped at it. It went through him, and we nick a 3rd goal late on. For an even game, it's a horrid scoreline for Randers. But Hayden Carter, what a dream debut off the bench. 3-0 is the victory, and that flatters us massively. Well, post-game, there's some potential news for the next episode because Helgeson, he might be our Janusa replacement yet. Offers accepted, but others interested too. Generally, where that's been the case, we've ended up missing out. But let's see when we're going to be back on the schedule. I think we're going to come back at the start of September because presumably deadline day is the end of August again. Odense is the first game in September. They're a side expected to be in that top half area. So let's show that. Odense away 1st of September. Transfer deadline day just either side of it. We'll have 5 more games between now and then. A big run of home games we've got to take advantage of. But if you're looking forward to seeing if we can replace Janusa and maybe even push towards that top half regularly, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got our usual Sunday doubleheader tomorrow with a brand new top 3 relating to the transfer window and also a new experiment as well. Please do come and check them out. And we'll also be back on Monday with the Hemel Save again. It's been a great season in that one. It's going to be a good one in this one too. A massive thank you for your support as always. I'll put the top 3 playlist above my head now. Please do check it out if you haven't already. I'll see you back here in a few days' time for transfer deadline day and hopefully a new centre midfielder.